There's something fascinating about Yamato. One Piece is an expansive narrative, one that has produced moments that are awe-inspiring, controversial, and gut-wrenchingly emotional en masse. Couldn't even count all of them on one hand, maybe even 10 hands, but who's keeping score? If there's any one point in the story that truly divided the One Piece community, it would be Wano. The longest arc in the series to date, Wano is a spectacle in every sense of the word. It generated not only a tidal wave in in-text revelations, fights, betrayals, epiphanies, and shifting agendas, but also left a massive, lasting impact across the community. This is an arc Oda teased decades prior, one he's admitted he was most excited to write. We've been building towards this moment ever since that fateful meeting with Kinemon back in Punk Hazard, but when it finally arrived, Wano unfolded as something enigmatic, a story so layered and multifaceted that any reader would come out the other side with their own unique perspective about what it all amounted to in the end. It's beautiful, but it's flawed. It's triumphant, but it's divisive. It's all of the things at once. Now, I could make an entire video unpacking my thoughts on Wano as a whole, and maybe I will someday, but for now, I want to focus on a single thread of that chaos. Among the epic battles, heartfelt moments, tragedies, and so on, we were introduced to a sea of new characters, each carrying their own weathered history and deep personal connections. Out of all of them, the one who stands out, the one who remains controversial, relevant, and endlessly debated is none other than Yamato, son of Kaido. Salutations, Stargazers, it's your boy johnnystar here with a quick but important announcement. As you already know, I have a Patreon where fans can come and support the channel in any way they can. We've recently revamped the tiers to make them more accessible, and I can finally announce that we have a Discord. That's right, the highly requested community Discord is finally here. You'll be able to communicate with me directly, ask questions, conversate about anime, manga, TV, you name it, share your artwork and projects, and just genuinely connect with the Star community. I've got a lot planned for this server, specifically for stuff that I normally can't post on the channel, like really dope edits and behind the scenes content. Access is simple. All you have to do is sign up for any of the Patreon tiers and you'll get entry into the Discord along with your name in any of the videos, such as these beautiful names right here. Higher tiers come with extra rewards like early access to videos a week before they go up on the channel, exclusive Patreon only videos like Johnny versus the Comments, and some stuff coming down in the future that I can't talk about just yet. So if you'd like to support and join the Star community, sign up today. And if not, no worries, I appreciate you all the same. Now don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get back into the video. I could spend hours combing through the laundry list of complaints that parts of the fandom have about Yamato. Some I understand, others I don't even bother to acknowledge, but that's not what I'm here for. You know me. I can only speak from my own perspective, and from my point of view, Yamato is fascinating. On the surface, he may just look like another strong ally introduced midway through a sprawling arc, but dig a little deeper and you'll see his story reflects some of One Piece's most powerful ideas: inherited will, generational progress, and the struggle to define who you really are. To me, Yamato is more than just another remnant of what Wano left behind. Yamato is special, and I want to explore why. Life is a cycle of death and rebirth. I've always felt Yamato's origins were written to explore that very idea. His story doesn't begin with his own life, but the death of another, Kozuki Oden. At just 8 years old, Yamato stood in the crowd as Oden was executed. It was a moment that shattered the spirit of Wano, a spectacle of cruelty designed to crush hope. But for Yamato, it sparked something else: admiration, longing, the desire to carry Oden's will forward. Amid the wreckage of the Kozuki estate, Yamato discovered Oden's journal, and this journal became more than a record of adventures with the Pirate King. It was scripture. Within its pages lived Oden's hopes, dreams, and vision for the future of Wano. Oda often uses artifacts as vessels of will. Nolan's logbook in Jaya, the records of O'Hara preserved by Vegapunk, the poneglyphs, even Luffy's straw hat. These objects transcend time, passing through generations. Oden's journal belongs in that lineage, serving as a mission statement that gave Yamato strength to resist the wishes of his father, Kaido, and to imagine a future beyond Onigashima's iron grip. But dreams that lofty always demand sacrifice. Oden himself paid that price, and Yamato would as well. Kaido's answer to rebellion was violence, beating, starvation, and confinement. Yet imprisonment brought Yamato into contact with Wano's legendary samurai. Men like Shimotsuki Yoshimaru and the other daimyo befriended him, teaching the ideals of warriors who lived and died by the blade for their homeland. In return, Yamato shared the text of Oden's journal with them. Through that exchange, the samurai entrusted him with their will. They gave their lives to fight tyranny for even a single day longer, urging Yamato to push on to the promised day prophesied by Oden. Their sacrifice gave Yamato the resolve to keep hope alive. Inherited will isn't just a theme in One Piece, it's its very DNA. Yamato's origin is a story of will passed down through understanding a culture, its history, and the pain of its people. Freedom and kindness are universal languages. They know no barriers, except for whether or not we choose to let them into our hearts. Whether through his youth, his innocence, or the cruelty he endured under Kaido, Yamato chose to accept the will of those warriors, and he survived to carry Oden's dream forward. It was a flame that only grew brighter, and he carried it with him as he crossed paths with a kindred flame, Portgas de Ace. This is one of my favorite encounters in all of One Piece, for many reasons. To begin with, I've always adored Ace as a character. At first, I can only appreciate him as a plot device, his death being the catalyst for the Straw Hat Pirates' growth, and of course setting into motion the greatest arc in One Piece history. Probably one of the greatest arcs in all of Battle Shonen, but again, who's really keeping score? Over time though, Ace has grown beyond that role for me, through the stories of those who knew him and were shaped by him. His character has been fleshed out in depth. It's hard not to admire him for who he was and what he's contributed to the story. Ace embodies so many of the best aspects of One Piece itself, while also helping other characters shine through their interactions with him. This meeting with Yamato is one such moment. Years before Luffy even set sail, Ace washed ashore in Wano. Hearing the pleas of its suffering people, he marched straight towards Onigashima, intending to challenge Kaido, only to find Yamato. What followed was an explosive clash, a collision of raw power and ideology. But in that clash, they found common ground. The fight gave way to an evening of drinking, sharing stories and speaking of their dreams. Ace was reckless, fiery, and explosive, his personality a mirror of his devil fruit. Yamato, though bound in chains both literal and metaphorical, carried a similar fire. They were kindred spirits, both yearning for freedom, both wanting to stand against oppression, and both carried the weight of their father's sins. That night, another flame was added to Yamato's torch. In swapping tales, Ace spoke of a boy on the other side of the world, his younger brother, who dreamed a ridiculous dream, one even we are not privy to. This dream so audacious, Ace feared others would only laugh, but Yamato didn't laugh. Instead, he recalled similar words found in Oden's journal, words spoken once before by the Pirate King himself. For Yamato, it was as if history had circled back to this moment. And this is where the anime deserves immense praise. I may consider myself a manga purist, especially when it comes to One Piece, but I can't overstate how much love and effort has been poured into the anime in recent years. Certain moments that felt fleeting in the manga were transformed into breathtaking sequences. Yamato learning of Luffy's dream in parallel with Roger's is one of the most beautiful pieces of imagery I've ever seen. Tears fall as Yamato declared he could never laugh at such a dream. This moment is crucial to understanding why Yamato is such an endearing figure. He plays a near harbinger role, a character who carries history forward and delivers it to the exact moment where it will matter most. He embodies the importance of remembering history, of preserving dreams, and of recognizing that across generations, our aspirations connect us far more deeply than our differences divide us. But remember, his journey is the very cycle of death and rebirth. As one flame is passed to him, another is snuffed out. The burden of inheriting will is not light. To survive Onigashima under Kaido's rule is a feat not for the faint of heart. When news of Ace's death reached him, Yamato nearly lost all hope of being free. Yet, he remembered Ace's words. about the boy destined to turn the world upside down, Monkey D. Luffy, a guiding star for the lost. It was a long shot, perhaps even foolish, but if Ace believed in that boy, and if those same words he spoke had once belonged to Roger, then maybe, just maybe, Luffy could be the one to liberate not only Wano, but Yamato as well. So here we are, Wano, or more specifically, Onigashima, during the third act of this arc where a mighty battle unfolds over the span of one single night. Here we witness fated showdowns 20 years in the making, rising stars stepping into the spotlight, the glory of awakened devil fruits, and most importantly, the will of those who've passed living on through the warriors fighting for their freedom in the present. And at the center of it all stands Monkey D. Luffy, and alongside him, Yamato. Another great encounter I love, their first true exchange. Luffy, understandably baffled that a masked stranger wants to chat mid-raid, is soon met with Yamato's revelation of who he is and the weight he carries. A bond is instantly forged. My favorite moment, especially in the anime, is the smile on Luffy's face when Yamato mentions Ace. From there, the first step in breaking Yamato's chains begins. Literally. Only Luffy, thanks to his training in Udon Prison, could shatter the shackles on Yamato's wrists, freeing him from Kaido's grip. What can I say, when it comes to symbolism, Oda is just built different. The next step comes with Yamato passing Oden's will to its rightful heir, his son, Momonosuke. Though just a child, Momo carries the legacy of Oden and the power to reshape Wano. Yamato and Momo were the same age when Oden died, and now, 20 years later, Yamato becomes his guide. Protecting him with his life, Yamato entrusts Momo with Oden's journal and prompts him to decide for himself how best to honor his father's wish. Finally, we have Yamato joining the raid effort, and Oda wastes no time putting him to work. Two major events stand out: his confrontation with Kaido and his role in the raid's conclusion. While Yamato does succeed in stopping the bombs at the bottom of Onigashima from detonating, the narrative weight in this moment feels less impactful, or at least not immediately noticeable. What lingers instead is the question of Yamato's unique bond with the numbers. Could this connection hint at something greater? Perhaps even Yamato inheriting the title of King of Beasts after Kaido's downfall? Maybe, maybe not, who knows. Yamato, now freed from the shackles that bound him to his prison and emboldened by the raid effort, seeks to assist Luffy while he's out of commission by taking on his father in combat and sever the chains of oppression. Starved as a child, Yamato ate the Inu no Mi zone fruit, model Okuchi no Makami, out of desperation. That fruit, embodying Wano's guardian spirit, now symbolizes Yamato as the protector of the nation, not by blood, but by heart. And if One Piece has taught us anything, it's that lineage matters far less than the will of the individual. This fight marks a turning point. Here the veil of Yamato, the disciple of Oden, falls away, and Yamato the warrior is truly born. The cruelty of Kaido trying to mold his child into a pawn collides with the will Yamato inherited from Oden, the samurai, and Ace. It's a fearsome clash, stunningly brought to life in the anime, and concluded by the return of our hero, Monkey D. Luffy. Yamato's final task is once again tied to Momonosuke, giving him the courage and knowledge to slow Onigashima's descent before it clashes into Wano. While Yamato guides Momo, Luffy, newly awakened, delivers the finishing blow to Kaido. And when the dust settles, who is there to catch our hero as he falls? None other than Yamato.
Whoa, I got you.
Life is a cycle of death and rebirth. After countless deaths, both literal and metaphorical, the land of Wano has finally broken free from its endless cycle. From the ashes, it can now rise and usher in a new dawn. But this renewal doesn't just belong to Wano, it belongs to Yamato as well. At this point, you might be asking, so what does this all mean? Why does this matter to me so much? The answer comes in two parts. First, this is a bit of redemption on my part. When I made my first video on Yamato years ago, it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I wasn't ready to dive into a character I saw as so layered and complex. On one hand, because I just wasn't that type of writer and I wasn't doing that type of analysis just yet, and also because we weren't that far removed from the end of Wano. That arc was so massive in scope, and like many others, I needed time to truly process my feelings about it. Looking back now, my perspective on both Wano and Yamato has shifted, and returning to this character feels not only right, but necessary. many people still don't fully understand Yamato's role in the story, or why others find him so compelling. To express my love for this character properly, I had to let the old video die, so that a new one could be reborn. Second, and I almost hate to admit this, I was once firmly aboard the Yamato will be the next Straw Hat hype train. Yes, I know, copium, toss me in the corner with the carrot fans. At the time though, it just felt like the perfect fit. Yamato would have brought a fresh, fish out of water perspective to the crew, having never sailed before. His relationship with Ace could have led to interesting interactions with the likes of Luffy or Jinbei. His relation to an ex-Emperor of the Sea and Ogre bloodline might have offered some unique story implications, and so on and so on. But as time has passed, I've come to appreciate Oda's decision to keep Yamato in Wano for now. Yamato himself admitted that this was the best route to take. He only knew the land he fought for through the stories he read. To truly honor Odin and close that chapter of his life, Yamato needed to walk the land, live it, and see it with his own eyes before heading to sea. That journey of self-discovery, traveling Wano, meeting its people, rehabilitating old enemies, and experiencing the country's beauty firsthand is exactly the kind of growth Yamato needs before crossing paths with Luffy again. And truthfully, I've enjoyed reading about his travels in the opening sections of each recent chapter. I can't wait for the day Yamato finally reaches the ocean and hopefully rejoins the Straw Hats. All of this is to say, I've always believed Wano gets more right than what it gets wrong, and Yamato is one of the clearest examples of that. By examining his character, we uncover the true narrative heartbeat of Wano, themes of freedom, legacy, and renewal. Yes, the arc had its pacing issues, unresolved threads, and missed opportunities with certain characters, but those flaws don't outweigh what it did give us. Yamato is a shining flame, a herald of dawn, carrying forward the will of those who came before him. My hope is that this video not only reinforced the love that fans like myself already had for Yamato, but also offers a fresh perspective for those who were uncertain or indifferent. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.